What's up, everybody? It's Chris Wagoner at Wagoner Law here in St. Pete, Florida, where personal injury is personal, and I'm coming to you today to talk to you about the true value of a personal injury case. So, I don't know if you've just been in a car accident or just been hurt by somebody else, or you're doing research for a friend or a family member, or maybe you're just curious and you clicked on this video because you know me or you're just bored. What I can tell you is that the true value of a personal injury case is a really complicated and nuanced question. And it would be impossible for me to, frankly, go through in one video and explain all of the details. I mean, it would take hours, frankly, to just break every single little thing down. But what I can tell you is that there are a few big factors that most attorneys that practice in personal injury law look at when determining what the value of a case is worth. So I'm going to break down those factors. So factor number one is going to be medical bills. One of the first things that I look at when I'm looking at a personal injury case is, what are the medical bills? How badly were you hurt? How badly was the person hurt? Not all cases are going to get valued the same just based off of that. I mean, if the accident was a rollover accident and they needed to use the EMTs at the scene had used the jaws of life to cut that person out, and then they were sent to the hospital, and then they were in ICU for a week, you're looking at a $500,000 hardline medical bill from the ER. But another person, they may have suffered some bruising on some of their arms. They went to the hospital and had an X-ray done. They might have $5,000 in medical bills. So that's immediately you've got a distinction between those two cases just based off the hard medicals. Now, in personal injury cases, you can get past medical bills, which would be what I just described, those ER bills straight from the scene of the accident. But you can also get future medical bills as well. So let's say that there was the person who was in ICU for a week, he goes a month after the accident and is evaluated by another doctor, and that doctor proposes surgery. The proposed surgery, even if he hasn't gotten that proposed surgery, can also be demanded from a jury or from the defendant to compensate that person for the surgery that they need. So medical bills is always a major factor in evaluating personal injury cases. So second factor in evaluating personal injury cases is wage loss and loss of earning capacity. So wage loss, super easy. If you miss work because of an accident, whether because you were in the accident and you just didn't get to work that day because you had to, go to the hospital or whatever, or if you are treating, at any medical facility and you miss work as a result of that, you can get the lost wages that you would have gotten had you just been at work normally as if nothing was wrong. Loss of future earning capacity is a little bit different. Loss of future earning capacity is, let's say that somebody loses their arm in an accident, right? And they're a landscaper. Obviously, their ability to landscape is going to be hurt, if not completely destroyed, by the fact that they only have one arm now. So when I'm going through a personal injury case, if I have something like that, like a loss of future earning capacity, I have to try to determine what the number is monetarily, financially to that person now that they no longer can do the job as well. Maybe their ability to get promoted has been affected. Maybe they were fired. Maybe they had to get a completely new line of work. Those things all are taken into account when determining loss of future earning capacity, because that's exactly what loss of future earning capacity is. It's a little bit more nuanced and difficult than say just wage losses. So that's number two. Number three is property damage. Now, obviously, if this is like a slip and fall case, you're not really going to see property damage as much, but like in car accident cases, property damage becomes a pretty big deal. If it's a minor fender bender and there's a $500 property damage to the person's car from behind, it's going to be looked at a little bit differently than, let's say, a $6,000 total loss for the vehicle, in which all the airbags deployed and they had to tow the vehicle. It was inoperable at the scene and they had to tow it away. So property damage can be a big one, because and while anything's possible, and the human body is amazing, and I say that because, if you get into a fender bender, people can get pretty hurt in fender benders. It just depends on the person and the angles and all that stuff that I'm not going to really get into. But generally, a lower property damage case, a jury isn't going to look at that and say, yes, this person that $500,000 in medical bills is justified based on this $500 property damage. The higher the property damage, the more a jury is willing to believe that you had greater damage done to you. Now, again, things can change. Nothing's set in stone. Every case is a little bit different, but generally that's kind of the way that it works. So number 3 is property damage. Number 4 is the always popular topic of pain and suffering. So pain and suffering has obviously gotten a bad rap over the last few years because a lot of people look at pain and suffering verdicts that they've seen on TV, whether it be the McDonald's hot coffee case. I think is probably the most popular one that people know about. But in the state of Florida, actually, it's not super easy to get pain and suffering damages, at least in a car accident case. In car accident cases, the law specifically requires that the plaintiff, the person who was hurt, has to have suffered a permanent injury as a result of the accident. If there's no permanent injury, you can't ask for pain and suffering. But if there's a permanent injury, i.e. that it's ongoing in the future forever, it's never going to go away. Like that guy, going back to my example of the guy who lost his arm, obviously that's permanent. You can ask for pain and suffering damages, for the loss of the arm. And pain and suffering is a really interesting concept that I could probably do an entire another video on. But those are the 4 big ones: medical bills, past and future, wage loss and loss of future earning capacity, the property damage to the vehicle, and then last but not least is there going to be pain and suffering? If there is pain and suffering, how much is it going to be worth? So I hope this was interesting. I hope it was informative, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.